Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a wonderful day. And it seems that New York is racist. I know that you guys are probably shocked by this, and part of you, far people on the far left, are saying that's not true, or you're bringing up lies. But unfortunately, it's not. I'm not really trying to wanting a state or any place to be legitimately racist because, I'm an anti-racist person. But as you should know, part of for the far leftists is that they're racist. Actually, all the Democrats are racist. Last time I checked, they haven't really been the very caring group for black people or any minority group because they were the first ones to instigate racism in the first place and the first ones to die on racism, and it seems they're still being the first ones to die on said racism because they're forced to pay $1 billion because of a racist teaching exam. And this guy was also paid around 1.8 something million dollars, give or take, or no, closer to $2 million because he was told to fake the test and do poorly on the exam. Don't believe me? Well, take a look at this.
They knew I wasn't taking them serious because I just wasn't taking them serious. Why would you send me letters and tell me about lawsuit? Because I know lawsuit either they go through or they won't go through. From reading, hearing news and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I know a couple of people that had, well, not in education, but they went through lawsuits and they didn't win or anything like that. Mm. So to me, it's just like fabric. But it's when I finally got it in my head, they kept pushing and kept explaining things piece by piece until I started getting it in my head and just listened to them, and it went from there.
Okay.
But still today, I don't really believe it. But yes, they've been still on the phone for a long time, trying to convince me that it's real, it's no game, it's no, falsehood and all that stuff. But it's not. I'm a normal person. I had to struggle for money.
So there you have it. Yeah, I can understand why, guys, that's a little bit hard to understand, at least him specifically. I can understand him. But around, pretty much what he's saying is that the test that he was taking was mostly being pressured and stuff for him to fail the test and gets received, money, and he was struggling for money. And as most people, I think, are, especially in this comedy, you're struggling for money or trying some type of a way. So it doesn't seem to be too great. But what we have here with the actual article, New York City to pay $1.8 billion over old racist teaching exam, but blacks perform poorly on newer exams too. New York City will pay nearly $2 billion to black and Hispanic people who wanted to become teachers but failed the exam, settling a lawsuit that alleged that the disparate passage rates show that the test was racist. Some individuals who never worked as teachers will get more than $1 million each and can even get pensions which will inflate the cost well beyond $1.8 billion. The New York Post reported. The Post interviewed 64-year-old Herman Grimm, who will be paid $2 million after failing the test a lot. He could not provide any examples of how the corrections were racist. One anonymous Brooklyn principal told the Post the city was crazy to settle the case because the standards are the standards. To hire people who are not qualified and change the requirements because a certain group didn't pass the test is bullshit. The settlement concerns the liberal arts and science test, which prospective teachers took between 1993 and 1995. More than 90% of whites passed the test, while only 53% of blacks and even fewer Hispanics did. But the idea that those statistics prove that the test was racist, rather than properly reflecting knowledge levels, is undercut by the results of the teaching exams used since. Most states use an exam called Praxis to credential their teachers. According to a 2011 study, co-written by the National Education Association Teaching Union, Praxis results were similar to the New York City test. The largest differences exist for African American test takers, with passing rates that are lower than white test takers by 35% or more, the NEA study found. The NEA said that's because Praxis is also racist, but its own study did not support that. According to the book Race to the Bottom, Uncovering the Secret Forces Destroying American Education, the results from our analysis were consistent with results from similar tests of academic skills, such as the SAT and ACT. That is, we found significant differences in average scores between test takers of different racial ethnic subgroups, the study said. The teaching exam also correlated with GPA, where blacks tended to have lower GPAs as well as teaching exam scores. Nonetheless, by 2017, 12 states, including New York, had moved to a more subjective test called EDTPA that was designed to address claims that the other tests didn't actually identify who would be good in the classroom and allow people to submit videos of themselves teaching. But in New York State, black prospective teachers failed the EDTPA at nearly twice the rate of whites and Hispanics, the book found. In 2017, New York State scrapped its requirement that teachers must pass a literacy test because just 40% of Hispanic test takers and 41% of black test takers passed it on the first try, compared with 64% of white candidates, the book said. Teaching exams are notoriously easy, essentially measuring whether the teacher could pass the class she is teaching. Practice creators said that all of the content and skills of the 3 Practice 1 tests cover skills that did not exceed a high school level. Race to the Bottom said that the fight to lower teaching standards amounted to viewing schools as a jobs program for adults even when it harmed children. In 21 New York City schools, only 10% or fewer of 5th graders, even excluding immigrants who were still learning English, passed English language arts exams in 2019. Being taught to read by teachers who themselves cannot read is unlikely to correct this devastating statistic, it said. Teachers' unions argue that it's important to have more minority teachers because blacks learn better than when they have a black teacher. But besides amounting to arguing for segregated classrooms here, educators' ineptitude at math is apparent. A large study often cited as showing a correlation between having a teacher of the same race and better test scores, based on a long-term analysis of black and white students in Florida, found that the improvement was 0.004 to 0.0005 standard deviations for reading. Statistically, that means the effect is virtually meaningless. Race to the Bottom found. So, I'm not really too surprised that this is technically happening, and I'm pretty sure this is happening in California. In fact, I know that something similar to this is happening in California because a lot of black Americans, specifically in California, that don't even know how to read or write, which is absolutely horrendous because our schools are garbage in this state, and they've always been garbage. I should know, I went through them. So, the only way you're going to get proper education, in my personal opinion, and I think it's still true, is either in private schools or if you do homeschooling. Because the public schools in California are absolute horrible. And I would never recommend people going to these public schools in California. I was talking to somebody, a relative of mine, and even though telling them that the actual test scores, everything and all that are bad, she still thinks it's a good idea to take her child to California, where she can also risk her child being taken from her, and then also the mirroring fact that I think it's a good idea to have her child be more dumb and be able to not be able to read or write, or be able to do basic math at a current level because she wants more money. Little does she seem to know, which I also explained to this person, that the money is not going to mean too much if half of that money is taken away from, taxes. And not only that, the cost of living. See, there's the thing that people need to understand, is that when you go into places that are more expensive, you have to make sure that, the money that you're getting is, good enough to makes it seem that you are reaching above the standard. You can go almost into any other state, get a really nice house for almost any other state, and be fine. And what you get in California is that you could get a bloody mansion in other states. So I'm not quite sure why you would want to come into this godforsaken state, because it's terrible. The schools are terrible. The politics are ruining the state. There's crime everywhere. There's thefts everywhere. It's just not good, and your child could be taken away. There are so many things that are bad in this state, and telling somebody this, oh, it's bad, and then they're saying oh, but the money shows that the level of competence is not so high up there because decision making seems to be lacking a little bit. Yes, I am flaming my own relative, but it's something that needs to be said here. I know this because I live here. I see the damage. I see the horribleness of it all. It's not great having to walk through Sacramento and then or this godforsaken area, and then you have to smell piss or shit or anything else that is within the city because it's terrible. Or just, see a random person passed out on top of a box, and you may think he's dead because, that place is A-okay. So, yeah, I don't think this place is the best, this state is the best place to be. And it's starting to crumble, and it will crumble, and it's time to get out as soon as I can. But the matter of the fact is that we know that the Democrats are racist, and this is not really a surprise. And there is nothing that is going to change otherwise. Now, I did have somebody else tell me that, there is racism in this country. I would agree that there is racism in this country, but the majority of the racism is coming from actual Democrats because they're the ones that hate Hispanics, they hate minorities in general, they honestly just like themselves and only themselves, and they try to make us look a fool. They're trying to make us be a victim. They use us for their own political gain. Now, I don't know about you, but so far the Republican Party has yet to do this, although there is about probably 15 Republicans that probably do this for their own political gain as well. So don't get me wrong, the Republicans don't get their sleight of hand either. However, I don't see them constantly doing this, because, when they invited a Hispanic person not too long ago into like one of the chairmen or senators of Texas, and everybody's rejoicing for it, and she's a Hispanic woman. I'm pretty sure the left went crazy about this person being put into place while the right was celebrating it. So I don't know about you, but it seems that the left has a very clear problem with minority people, and this New York City place, a very heavy Democratic area, is shown to have to pay over $1 billion because of a reaching teaching program. It really just shows you how bad that they are. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.